We have built AI voice agents and call centers for over 30 different businesses. It's become one of our most requested solutions. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you one of the easiest ways that you can build these systems with an actual front end, analytics dashboard, and automated calling, all using Replit's new Agent 3, ElevenLabs, and n8n. Now these agents, they can handle outbound calling, any inbound calling and support, qualify the leads, and perform any action that you need, like notifying your teams within Slack, collecting information during these calls, retrieving and posting data to your CRM, booking appointments, you name it. So let's get started building. But first, before we do that, I just want to show you what we're actually going to be building out. Now, I have deployed this just on a simple website, as you guys see, but you can actually deploy this really anywhere. If you wanted to deploy this on WhatsApp, Telegram, Slack, Teams, or just have people call a phone number directly, whatever it may be. But for us, we're just going to be using a simple web interface as the front end. So within our dashboard, what we are going to be doing is we want to upload a list of leads that we want to contact. So before we do that, this is the list that I am going to be downloading and uploading. But you can imagine if this had, 500 rows of different leads that you did not want to call yourself, obviously, because that's going to be expensive to hire somebody and take a lot of time to actually call all of these leads. If it was hundreds and thousands of leads, which is a very common example of a lot of the clients and companies that come to us saying, hey, like we have all these dormant leads and we want to contact them. So we're going to download this list, and it's obviously just one lead, as you guys can see, and we're going to be inputting it inside of our dashboard. So back inside of our dashboard, we're going to go to the upload lead section. We're going to drop this within here. You can see it's going to provide us with a preview, and we're going to import the lead. It's going to then take us to the schedule calls page. We're going to edit the action because we want to schedule a time. So it's 12:21. So maybe I just want to call them right now, or maybe I want to call them, 1 day from now or 2 days from now. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to schedule this. And then once this time actually hits, well, it's probably going to take about 30 seconds. It's going to call me and it's going to trigger the agent. Awesome. So as you guys can see, we're getting a call from our phone agent. So we're going to pick this up, put it on speaker.
Hi, is this Nick?
Yeah, who is this?
Hi, Nick. This is Ellie from Sync2. I'm Nick's AI assistant. We work with clinics and businesses to help them save time and grow using professional AI employees. I wanted to quickly introduce what we do and ask a couple of questions to see if this could be useful for you. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Great, thanks. To see if this might make sense, roughly how many calls does your team or yourself handle each month? I mean all calls, new inquiries, existing customers or patients with questions, bookings, or any general service-related calls.
Yeah, about like 200 or 300, I would say.
Got it. Thanks for sharing. And what's your main priority right now? Are you looking to bring in more new customers, save time for your staff, or something else?
Bring in more customers. I mean, that's pretty obvious, right? But yeah, I mean, overall, just like increasing our bottom line, even top line.
That makes total sense. Thanks for sharing. Based on your 200 to 300 calls a month and your focus on driving more customers.
Okay, as you guys can obviously see, it was going to push me to schedule a call right then and there. So we want to now be able to see within here. So this is actually an old result. We want to be able to see the most recent call and the output of what's going on. So it's going to take a second for it to actually wait for those results to be coming in, for the system to determine like what happened on that call, what can be done better about that call, and what actually is going on inside of n8n. If we go to our executions, we should see, yeah, it actually just finished up. So now if we go back inside of our lead scheduler and we just refresh, okay. So it says that we answered, but we did not book the appointment then and there. So we have the time. And if we actually go inside of n8n, we can get a little bit more specific and we can actually see the transcript. So if we would like, we can actually store this transcript, listen to these calls right here on this dashboard. Of course, you guys can see we didn't input it on this particular demo, but in the future, if we would like to, hypothetically, we can include any information that we would like because, we are essentially collecting all this information. Like here is the transcript. So if we would like to, we can store this inside of our dashboard. But anyways, as you guys just saw, this system is able to answer any questions about our services. It's able to collect the prospect's information and book an appointment, all done in there, all automatically. And this isn't just handling simple FAQs. This system, it can take literally any action that you want. So if you wanted to be able to get your calendar availability, if you wanted to be able to grab order statuses or manage subscriptions or create invoices or whatever your business needs, it is capable. And the key thing is that we are integrating n8n as the backend, which means that we can build just about any workflow or automation and connect it to this voice agent. So the possibilities, they are genuinely endless. Okay, now before we start building anything at all, let me just go ahead and break down the three main components of this entire system. So as I already mentioned, we are obviously going to be using Replit as the front end. So this is just where users are going to be able to actually upload a CSV of their leads, schedule whenever they want these calls to happen, and then view the analytics on these call performances. And all the data, it is going to be living inside of Google Sheets, which we will connect using Replit's new connectors features. Now, there's more on that in just a few minutes. So second, we're going to be using n8n as the backend orchestration layer. So it's going to be receiving webhooks from Replit when it is time to make those calls and trigger the ElevenLabs voice agent and essentially just be storing all the results back into Google Sheets, as you guys can see here. Now, third, ElevenLabs is just going to be handling all of the actual phone conversations using their AI features. So the voice quality, pretty incredible. Latency, it's very minimal, and it can perform actions through n8n and its webhooks. Now, the real breakthrough with all of this setup, it's how these three tools actually work together to eliminate the usual headaches of building production-ready voice systems. But with that being said, let's get started building. And also really quick, if you are building AI solutions for businesses, maybe just like this, and you want to learn how to sell systems like this, or if you're just a business owner looking to automate your own business, or just looking to join an amazing community of AI enthusiasts and entrepreneurs, join our school community. We have over 13,000 members now. It is completely free. We have monthly competitions, weekly calls, and so much more. Links down below. So first thing is first, we're going to be starting with ElevenLabs because this is where we will actually configure the voice agent and all of its capabilities. And if you do not have an account yet, sign up. It's free to start. And if you use the link down below in the description, you will get some free credits. After that, it's very cheap. It's maybe about $10, $15 a month, depending on your usage. So what you want to do after you sign up is you're wanting to come into this agents platform up at the top. You want to create a brand new agent, click on blank agent, or you can have some of the templates actually help you fill it out. So we already have one created, so that is what we are going to be walking through. Now, once you actually name your agent, it's going to prompt a dashboard that looks a little something like this, or exactly like this rather. First thing is first is we're going to be focusing on the first message and the system prompt, arguably the most important piece about building any sort of voice agent. So for the first message, we are going to allow n8n to personalize these messages because we have this Google Sheet, right? So this Google Sheet, we want to be using their name on our phone calls. So we need to somehow get this information from this Google Sheet, triggering these phone calls. So when it's calling somebody, it's going to say like, hey, Nick, or maybe, hey, Tom, or if there's somebody else, hey, Jesse, whatever it may be. So we just want to make sure that we are including this personalization. So for the time being, I'm just going to let you know that we're going to be doing double curly brackets message. And I will speak on more in that in a second because it is a little bit more complicated than that. So let's just skip this part. Let's start with the system prompt. So the system prompt, this is essentially just the brain, as you should probably know by now if you've been following my channel for a while, or if you're even, relatively deep within this AI space. System prompt is, essentially like how you're training the agent, how you want it to respond, what do you want it to respond to, what is its tone, everything like that. So what we are doing is we are mentioning you have access to our sales done services and FAQs knowledge base, which is essentially just a place where we are going to be giving our system, questions and answers like FAQs or any other information on pricing, how we handle our calls, anything else that might come up. So not much to be said about this. This is obviously going to be very dependent on what your company does and what you want to fill in with your own information about your company. So how we actually input that is if we scroll down, you can find agent knowledge base, add a document, add your Google Docs or whatever you have it stored within, maybe Microsoft Word. Okay, next up, we're going to skip to the piece where we have the opening intent. So what this is going to do, it's basically telling it like how we want it to start off the conversations and what should be happening based on like how they're responding. So if they say yes to like this is the person that they are asking for, then it's going to proceed to the introduction and the purpose stage. If they say no or that it's the wrong person, just politely end the call because we don't want to talk to that person. If they ask who's calling, you still proceed to this introduction and purpose stage. Now, just to speak a little bit on the entire structure, so getting a little bit high level about things, overall, we just have to be very specific about what we want to happen. So it's essentially like taking a diagram or a flow chart and putting it into text, if that makes any sense. So what I mean by that is we're getting a little bit conditional. So if they respond with X, you respond with Y, and that's all we were doing within this prompt. So you can see the introduction and purpose stage. So the first thing we want to happen is we prompt it to say like, you know, X line, X statement. So hi, this is Ellie from Sync2. I'm Nick's AI assistant. We work with clinics and businesses to help them save time and grow using professional AI employees, right? So I'm not going to be spending much more time. Just keep in mind, we are being very specific about what we need to happen and how we want our agent to respond. I will have this entire prompt along with a bunch of other resources linked within my school community. It'll be completely free to join, but you can get access inside of that if you are interested. Now, moving on, the only other thing is, to save this agent, you just have to provide it with some variables, and this isn't going to be used for production or anything like that. So just input whatever names that you would like. Now for the LLM, I am using GPT-5, but with GPT-5, it is going to be, the latency is going to be a little bit higher. So I would recommend to be using 4.1 if you're not going to be using any, complex training or any prompts that are going to be way too extensive. So let's actually just switch back to 4.1. Besides that, we're not going to be changing anything else with on. So, this is the original webhook, so it's all going to come back to this. Next up, what we have is an HTTP method. And I'm not going to dive into this too much because I have plenty of other tutorials going over how we actually trigger calls using these phone agent, voice agents, and everything like that. But essentially, we're just making an API call to ElevenLabs to trigger our particular agent that we are using. So all we have to do is we just have to go inside of ElevenLabs. We have to get our agent ID and we have to get our API key. So to get your API key, once you obviously copy this ID right here, go into your settings, go into, I believe it would be usage analytics, and then you go to API keys and you can create a new key. So hold on to both of those different things. And you're going to be first just filling in the blanks. So the template that I will be providing you for my school, you will just have to input the value right here. So this is your API key slot. And then you will have to input your phone number ID as well as your agent ID. So let's find that really quick, make sure we're on the right one. It would actually be, okay, so agent ID, this is going to go inside of this value right here. And then our phone number ID, which is another thing that you are going to be needing. So 3 different things. So let's find our phone number and open up our phone number. And assuming you do not have anything inputted into here, we're using Twilio, but you could also do SIP trunking. So inside of Twilio, it costs maybe $1 to buy a phone number. Go ahead and buy a number inside of there. I don't have any discount codes, unfortunately, you guys can use, but just sign up for Twilio. That is TWILIO. Sign up with that, create a phone number, and then you are going to be able to import it within here. Call it whatever you would like, put your phone number, and you're going to have to also put your account SID, which you could just grab within your Twilio account settings. It's literally as simple as that. I'm not going to walk you through that piece. But from there, we're going to open up our number and just grab this ID right here. Once you grab that, you're just going to be filling in the blanks that we have inside of this HTTP request. From there, we have a wait node, which is basically just waiting to make sure that the conversation is going to be over. Beyond that, we have another n8n workflow, which is going to be this personalizing the ElevenLabs call. So we need to make sure that we're getting this information from the Google Sheets and putting it into that one phone call. So how we do that is we have another webhook. So go ahead and either create your new workflow or just download my template and we're going to be grabbing the production URL once again, and we are going to be throwing this inside of ElevenLabs. If we go back to our agents and we go back to the outbound, we'll go back to security, and it is going to be the initiate data webhook override. So, and we're just going to scroll down and you will find, I already have my webhook inside of here, but you're just going to paste that webhook right here. So what that's going to do is every time this n8n workflow is going to be triggered, so these two right here, it's also going to prompt this ElevenLabs saying like, hey, we're getting a call to be triggered, and I need you to start running this other webhook, which is going to be right here, in which we're just going to get our rows from our Google Sheet, literally as simple as that. And we're going to use a respond to webhook. Of course, this should be already configured for you if you're downloading this, but just make sure that you have the respond using the respond to webhook node as that feature right there. And then inside of here, we're going to be inputting the message. So the big thing about this and why we're actually doing all of this is just so we can say the name. So we're getting the name from Google Sheets, and then we're putting it inside of that phone conversation. So I know this all may seem a bit complex and very intricate. I mean, this is a pretty intricate method. So if you've gotten this far, or if you're just getting confused, I mean, that's completely understandable. Just make sure to rewind the video, drop in the comments if you have any questions about that, and I'm happy to help out, or let me know inside of my community. And either somebody else is able to help you out with that piece, just because this is one of the most intricate setups that I've done. But moving on, that is essentially taking care of everything with ElevenLabs. So what we want to do inside of this other workflow, as I mentioned, we are getting the call status. So you just have to input your conversation ID from the previous call that was happening. And we're also inputting our API key from ElevenLabs. What we're going to get is something that is going to look a little bit like this. So you can see the transcript right here. Hi, is this Nick? If we scroll down, we can see all these different messages. So we can see where I said, yeah, who is this? And then it's going to respond with that message, everything from there as well. What we want to do is we just want to combine all those different messages, because you see we have, it's basically isolated where we have transcript 0, transcript 1, transcripts 2, transcript 3, transcript 4, 5, 6, 7, you get the idea. What we want to do is we just want to combine everything, and that's where I'm just using a little bit of JavaScript. So I just had ChatGPT help me write this, and it's going to come out with a single combined transcript. What we are doing is we are inputting all of that inside of some sentiment analysis and LLMs. So we're determining, first up, did they answer the call or did they not answer the call? If they answered the call, well, did they book a consultation or did they not book a consultation? Like, did they book the appointment? For the example that I showed you guys, we did not book a conversation or anything like that. So let's try to go to the most recent, and we'll, okay. So here's the most recent run. We can see it's analyzing the actions, and it's going to be storing everything inside of Google Sheets. So first off, it's analyzing the actions. It says the user, Nick, seems engaged and interested in conversations regarding the services offered. There's no indication that he's annoyed or anything like that. Next up, we have a feedback agent. So if we didn't book a consultation, why is that? So this agent, it's providing its reasoning. So if we come inside of Google Sheets, you can see, here's the AI area for improvement. Here's the reason the call was not booked. Here's the results. Now, all of this information, well, actually just the results, it's being relayed inside of our lead scheduler, or the dashboard rather. So if we go back to the results, you guys can see that, you know, we didn't book a call right here. Also, it's showcasing the Tom and Jesse. So there's a few things we might want to tweak. But in any case, it is showcasing that we did not book the call, which is what we're looking for. And if we wanted to, we can show the transcripts, even have us listen to the conversations just by providing it with the link and having the system configure all of that. So that is essentially those two pieces, how we actually set up the ElevenLabs agent and how we set up the backend automation using n8n. Now, the next piece is going to be using Replit to actually set up all of this. Now, Replit has made it super easy for us to create these dashboards, these web apps. So, I mean, all I had to do is just type, literally just using natural language, typing in plain English, how we want this web app built, what we want it to be capable of. if I wanted to include additional features, like if I wanted it to be able to include the actual transcripts, all we have to do is just type out, make sure that we're including the transcripts as well. Again, I know that last piece, I kind of sped through it and it was pretty complex, but if you are confused at all, again, make sure to check out some of my previous videos because we dive into it a little bit more specifically. Even if we're using different platforms like Vappy or whatever else to build these agents, it's still going to give you insights on how we actually build it, how we actually connect everything together. But given that I'm giving you guys the workflows, it should be pretty straightforward. All you have to do is just input all the information, or really just copy and paste yourself and input the variables like your API keys and all that stuff. So I'm doing all the heavy lifting for you. So first thing, obviously we'll just want to look up replit.com. I'll have a link where you guys can sign up in the description of this video. So click on that link and just go ahead and create your account. Now from there, it's going to take us to this page where we're going to be able to determine like, what do we actually want to make? So feel free to explore everything for yourself. You have the apps, you have the published apps, integrations, usage, all that stuff. That's really the only tabs you're going to need to focus on. Also down below, we have different things that we could be building out: web apps, data apps, 3D games, general, or any automations, and using the beta. So within this, we're just going to jump straight into it and tell the agent, like, what do we actually want to create? So I'm going to say, build a lead scheduling dashboard application with the following requirements. The core functionality, I want to include a CSV upload system where we can create a page where users can upload their CSV files containing leads with columns. So I include just the column names, and then I'm saying the lead scheduling. So build a schedule page that displays all the imported leads in a table with columns for the name, phone, email, company, schedule time, and actions. Allow the users to edit each lead to set a scheduled call time and add notes. Here's the automated webhook triggers. So just implement a node cron scheduler that runs every minute and triggers a webhook to, exactly the webhook that we're using within n8n. So if I go back to here, so it would be this that we want to trigger to essentially make the calls to ElevenLabs. So again, go to your webhook, go to the production URL, and we're going to be connecting that to our dashboard. So give it the webhook, and it says when a lead is scheduled, time is reached, the webhook should receive a post request with the lead's full details like the ID, the name, phone, email, company, and notes. So the dashboard analytics, just create a dashboard page showing these metrics. By the way, I will have everything that I am putting in, all my instructions and everything for this so that you guys can copy. So I'm just saying, here's the dashboard analytics. Here's the total leads, scheduled calls, calls booked, calls not booked, success rate. So these are all the things that I want to include within my page. So just to keep it a little bit more high level, all we're doing is just being specific about what we want. Just type in natural language, plainly like what you want this system to create for you, and it'll start creating everything. And lastly, we're just saying, here's the Google Sheets integration. So just connect to Google Sheets using the Replit Google Sheets integration. The sheet should have these columns, A through I. And what's awesome about this is the new connectors features. It just allows us to easily connect to Google Sheets or whatever else you're using. So if it's like Slack that you want to integrate with, all you will have to do now is just sign in with Slack, and it's going to make it super easy for you to connect to any application, any other third party. But without yapping anymore, I'm just going to start the chat, and it's going to start writing everything out for me. Okay, so it's going to say, I'll help you build this lead scheduling dashboard application. Let me first search for the Google Sheets integration that you will need for this project. So I'm going to continue with this connection. You would normally have to log into Google Sheets, but we're already logged in. Now it's going to say, from there, it'll just make sure that everything is authorized, and it'll create the comprehensive plan. Okay, so it just came back with one of our plans. It says, I'll include the following features, just going over, briefly, like high level, everything that it's going to be doing. Now I'm just going to say, start the design and start designing, and it's going to, start giving us a preview of everything. And I'll come back to you guys in a second because it will probably take 60 seconds to maybe 2 minutes or 3 minutes. Okay, now it came back with some new previews saying it's going to build out the high fidelity functional prototype, but it's now asking us for some more permissions to just build out the rest of everything. So making sure that everything looks good. Obviously this is, we could turn it to night and day themed, but I mean, this is more or less like what we're looking for. We don't need it to look anything crazy. So I'm just going to say, keep iterating on design and ask it, And now I'm just going to upload a list and see if it actually works. So let's go back to find our CSV. We'll import that. We'll see what happens. So it looks like we don't have any names being populated within here. So maybe it's just not ready yet, or maybe we need to make a couple more revisions. So let's just now translate. Okay, finish the application. I tried and didn't populate the results into the schedule. Okay, so now we'll give it some more time and see what it comes back with. Now it's just asking for some additional permissions to build out the rest of the functionality, which I will allow it, but I just want to review what it's actually been doing. So it's going to just run through a bunch of different tests. So this one took about 15 minutes to actually put together. So it did take some time because it was running the test itself and actually going through using a headless browser to go through everything. So, I mean, we could watch the replays of how it was actually doing everything, which is honestly super interesting. Where, I mean, look at this. This is a headless browser right here. So it's testing it itself. So this agent is super impressive. It's heading over to the upload page, making sure that everything was actually working properly. It's found some errors, so it was correcting itself. So let's move on. It kept doing that. And now the last thing, it's saying that it was ready to share. So I'm just going to go through this last piece and build out the functionality. So it just finished building the functionality. It says, I can see the lead scheduling dashboard is fully functional. The CSV validation is now robust. It properly rejects empty fields, validates email formats, and provides clear error messages. So let's just go ahead, go to the upload section. Let's try to upload this once again, upload that, upload and import. So we actually now have an error. The email is required. So let's go import that. The email and make sure we delete everything from here. I'll input my email. Let's remove these two names as well. Let's download this. And let's try throwing this into here once again. We will grab this from the downloads, throw it in there, upload and import. So it's actually giving us an error about the about our company section is also required. So I'm just going to say within here, we will not need the about or company section required to upload a lead list. So really, if you're having any issues, it's as simple as just communicating back to the system, having it fix, iterate on anything that you need. All right, so we just updated everything. Let's try now to load this in once again. Throw it within there, upload and import. Okay, amazing. Exactly what we're looking for. You can now see within this schedule section, we are able to, try to configure, edit any actions. So we also have this scheduled time. Let's just configure something to 2:50 p.m., which is now, obviously. So let's just configure something to 2:50 p.m., which is now, and see if it's going to input the webhook that we have identified. So in maybe about 30 seconds, we should be getting a call, but yeah, okay, well, already getting a call from this number right here. So that's exactly what we're looking for. Let's just make sure we're able to do everything and able to input these results back into the dashboard. So let's answer.
Hi, is this Nick Puru?
Yes, this is.
Hi, Nick. This is Ellie from Sync 2. I'm Nick's AI assistant, and I saw you just scheduled in a call with him, so I wanted to reach out to see if you had any immediate questions I could help answer before your meeting, and also ask you a couple of quick questions. How does that sound?
Yeah, okay, sure.
Great. Before your demo with Nick, I'd love to ask a couple of quick questions to help him prepare. First, roughly how many calls is your team or yourself handling?
Actually, I have to go. I'll call back another time. Okay, so we're just going to end abruptly and see if we're able to store everything from that call into Google Sheets and consequently into this web app. So let's give it maybe, 10 seconds or so, and it's going to then store everything within here. Okay, so it's actually saying we booked a call, which we're not looking for. Let's see if it's going to provide the reason call is not booked and So it actually does say that we booked a call, which is not what we are looking for. We should be looking for, didn't book call, but we answered the phone. So let's just go back into our web app and see, let's first refresh. and see if we're able to find anything within here, within these results. Okay, results. So we're not getting anything yet. So let's just save these settings. Once again, make sure we have the correct webhook URL. So I'm going to delete this and make sure we go back to n8n, grab this webhook, grab the production URL, and let's go back within here, make sure we are doing this properly. Okay, now let's try uploading a list once again and see if we get this to work properly. Upload an import. Put the times to right now, save the changes. Okay, so hopefully now it should be triggering the correct endpoint. I think maybe that was an old URL, and we'll be able to investigate what the issue is from there. So let's just try uploading this one more time, upload an import. We'll go into the actions, try calling this and setting the time for right now, save the changes, and in maybe 30 seconds, we'll get a call. All right, now as you guys see, we're getting this call from this agent. Let's pick up.
Hi, is this Nick?
Yes, this is.
Hi, Nick. This is Ellie from Sync2. I'm Nick's AI assistant. We work with clinics and businesses to help them save time and grow using.
Hey, I actually have to go right now. I'll call you back another time. So now I'm just gonna, again, hang up pretty abruptly. We'll go into the results section and let's just go ahead and check our n8n workflow. Make sure that we are, okay, yeah, so we can see it's actually waiting. So it's going to go through this wait node, make sure it's going to collect the call status, and then it's going to update the Google Sheets, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it will update back into the web app. So let me just cut really quick to finish off this wait node. All right, so now we see within Google Sheets, it just updated, answered, didn't book. The user, Nick, mentioned that they needed to go and call back another time. This indicates that the call was interrupted by the user's change of priorities or lack of time at the moment. The agent could inquire if there's a better time to reach out to the user. So that's the area for improvement. Now let's go back into the web app and let's try to just refresh and see if anything is coming back. Okay, so now it's just not relaying any of the results from the Google Sheet. So let's just go back into our panel and say, well, now it is not showcasing the results from the Google Sheet into the results page. It should be showing the lead results, like if a call was booked or not, and any additional information, like the reason it wasn't, and anything else. So let's submit that, and I'll come back to you guys once it finishes generating for this. Okay, so it just finished with the update. Let's go into the results section. Okay, that's exactly what we're looking for. You can see the reason not booked. We can see that they didn't book, and AI improvement suggestions. So now we have a dashboard, which is actually providing the analytics of every single call. So hypothetically, if we were to upload a lead list of maybe 500 leads, and then it's going to call all of them, it's also going to put all of the results, take care of all the calls, and do everything completely automated, all just using AI. So when would you actually be using all of this? So I mean, like, here's just a few like realistic use cases that you might be using it for, or a company could be using it for, whether you're looking to sell these solutions to all these different companies, whatever. So I mean, like, think about outbound sales for any local businesses, like real estate agents, insurance brokers, home services. They have lead lists and they need someone to qualify them. And the system, it's going to do it all 24/7 for pennies per call. Or maybe like appointment setting, where you have like medical clinics, consulting firms, or any business that books appointments. Just upload your lead list. The AI is going to call and book directly into the calendars. And then like you can consider like any customer surveys and feedback, where like after a purchase or service, you can just automatically call and collect feedback and then store everything within Sheets, analyzing the trends. And beyond that, like lead qualification too, huge piece. You could upload your warm leads and just let AI qualify them a little bit further based on your criteria and only pass the hot leads to your sales teams. Now, a question you're probably asking yourself is like, what could you even be charging for this for a client? And I mean, to be honest, you're looking at a few $1,000s to anything, 10,000 plus, really depending on the customization and, your experience and how much you can actually get away with charging this. And the ongoing cost per call, it's going to be about like 10 cents to like 20 cents. And the ongoing cost per call, it's going to be about like 10 cents to like 30 cents, depending on the call length and the complexity. But compare that to hiring a human call center at $15 to $25 per hour per agent. That's the complete system. But if you compare that to a human call center where you're going to be paying much higher hourly rates per agent. But with that being said, that is the entire system. You now have the blueprint to provide massive value to businesses with almost no learning curve whatsoever. So you could be building this for your own company, deploying it for your clients, or just use it to replace expensive call center operations. The tools are all here. I'm giving them away to you for free. The opportunity is right in front of you. So go build something. Now, before I end the video, I just wanted to quickly mention that we are running a 3-day challenge. Link is going to be down below in the description. But within this, we are helping you and putting you on the right track to making sure that you can actually be closing your first client, making sure you're not making any of the mistakes and only giving you the stuff that you need to be focusing on to actually start and grow your AI business. So if you're starting from a complete fundamental position where you're starting from just scratch, zero, we are going to put you on the right track and make sure you're doing all the right things that we would recommend to be doing if we had to restart. So you can check that out. Link is going to be down below in the description. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching again. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.